Welcome to a video about lost Norwich music venues. Where is this? It's now the King Centre in King Street, but historically it was Norwich Lads Club, and in 1971 Pink Floyd gave their first ever live performance of Echoes in this location. So we'll be looking behind some fairly nondescript doorways and remembering some of the names that played behind them. This is the Orford Cellar, a venue lit with ultraviolet with a 300 capacity below the Orford Arms. In 1967, Jimi Hendrix played here with Geno Washington as a warm-up. This is the Talk, a venue previously known as Talk of East Anglia, Melody Rooms and Springfields, but opened as the Norwich Industrial Club in 1954. Guests have included The Who, Roy Orbison, Fleetwood Mac and ELO. This is Tudor Hall, also known as Crocker's, Peppermint Park and Henry's, and it's seen performances by the Stylistics and Marvelettes amongst others. The ferry boat had music in a long room at the back, seen here being demolished. It had every type of music from jazz to heavy metal, from young bands to Fag Ash Lil, who played her piano in this room in her 80s. There's the Samson and Hercules, built in 1657 and once housing a swimming pool. A dance floor was installed on top of the swimming pool, and it became a ballroom in 1939, a popular venue with troops stationed in Norwich. Over the years it's been known as Ritzy's, Fifth Avenue, Central Park and Icon, and its guests have included Jason Donovan. Highs was also a nightclub in Toonland for 30 years, run by Hy Kurtzner, who also owned Boswell's Bar and Pizza One Pancakes too. And while we're having a diversion into nightclubs, this is Anglia Square, and a club known variously as Rick's Place, Scamps, Destiny and Deja Vu, and is still open as Twilight. This is the club in its days as Rick's Place, a name which was borrowed from a venue from the 1942 film Casablanca. Red Lion Yard is next to a pub now called the Dog House, but perhaps not surprisingly, it had previously been called the Red Lion. Seen here in 1936 and here in 1984, it played an important role in the 50s and 60s music scene, claiming the first appearance by a skiffle group in Norwich, the Alley Cats. Tony Sheridan attracted big crowds here before he went on to become a big influence on the Beatles. The Red Lion was across the road from St Andrew's Hall, always a major civic venue, but also known for performances by Status Quo, Focus, The Cure and The Trogs, among others. Close by is a festival house, now St Andrew's Brew House, and was home to many local rock bands. Three-piece band Route 66 played most weekends, covering a variety of rock standards. They were around so long that the internet informs us they allegedly played at the opening of the city walls. Quasar in St Stephen's Road was once called the Gala and had artists as diverse as the Kinks, Yes, Shack Attack, Level 42 and the Smiths. In 1935, All Saints Green had a cinema called the Carlton. This would become the Gaumont, and in 1964 would host the Rolling Stones. The site is now student accommodation called Pablo Fank House. Pablo Fank was a circus proprietor mentioned in the Beatles song For the Benefit of Mr Kite, which leads us neatly to the Beatles' only performance in Norwich in 1963. They performed at the Grosvenor Rooms in Prince of Wales Road and included From Me to You, which was then the current #1 single. A plaque on the present site commemorates their performance. The Mischief Tavern in Fye Bridge Street was the original venue of the Jacquard Club. It was in a back room here in 1965 that Paul Simon visited, and with just his guitar and his boots thumping on the floor, he introduced Norwich fans to the sound of silence. Tony and Albert Cooper had started the Jacquard Club and in 1971 relocated it to the former White Lion pub on Magdalen Street. It was subsequently called Santana's and is now a private dwelling. This pub was called the Shire Hall on Cattle Market Street. After a couple of name changes, it became a music venue called the Owl Sanctuary before closing in 2016. The latest proposal is for it to be turned into flats. The Bedford Arms gave its name to Bedford Street and was the home of the Norwich Jazz Club in the early 60s and had several associated names like the Downbeat Club and the Cat Trap Club before closing in 1975, and this is its 2021 view. I have it on good authority that Ambrose Slade played there, and if you can confirm that, please add it into the comments. Finally, let's stop off at the Theatre Royal. Not a lost venue as such, but it has had many different looks. This after a fire in 1934, this in 1938, and seen here in 2001. It was here that I saw my first proper gig. It wasn't David Bowie who performed here in 1973, but if you'd like to guess who it was, please add it into the comments. I know we've concentrated on those acts who appeared in Norwich but would go on to worldwide fame, but to conclude, here's a brief tribute to just a few of those local names who made the Norwich music scene what it was.